What's going on, party people? I just want to make this little demo video of my little database tool that I have over here. It took me like 3 years to make this, and what it does is it lets me edit my databases and my tables. But more importantly, is that after I've arranged them and created them, I can click a button and it writes code for me for the interface and a bunch of different files. It makes it all for me so that I get an interface to interact with the database automatically. And it does this using a type system, and I ain't going to get into everything exactly, except that it took me forever to make. I'm going to do these three tables today. I'm making this media indexer, and so I'm going to do these three right here, but there's more. There's like 11 or something like that tables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to end up doing, it might end up taking me an hour to do them all, but it used to take me like a week to write all the code this tool over here is going to do for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so first I'm going to say upload session, and it's already there because I messed up the recording on the first one and only recorded one of these windows. It was not a happy moment. All right, so basic PK, that's my basic primary key. I'm going to add a column. We'll say upload date time, existing date time single line filter. That has to do with the input. That's like a loose type. All right, so I'm going to say that cannot be null, but the default's going to be the current timestamp. All right, I'm going to add another column, and it's going to be notes, existing paragraph. All right, so the coolest thing about this, because all that is sort of nothing. That was easy to design, but this here, I'm going to write a bunch of my SQL functions by pressing enter. I'm going to add, drop, it should be delete instead of drop, edit, search, and resolve. I'm going to make all these functions automatically right here. So I just pressed enter and it wrote all these functions. I have a script that looks at this structure that I defined up here, and then it writes the functions for me. And I can do that because of the type system that's defined. Okay, I'm going to say enter. Oh man, table created successfully. Oh man, every time that happens, I jump for joy. It took me forever. Acquisition. Custom type. All right, the custom type lets me use it as a foreign key later. So that if I have a custom type, then it's defined what to do with it. All right, so I'm going to say basic PK. All right, and then I'm going to go down here and add a column. It's going to be called acquisition date, existing date single line filter. I'm going to make you input that one. All right, and I'm going to say amount. It's what I paid for the media. Existing dollar American. All right, and then I'm not going to let it be null, but I'm going to let the default be 0. And then I'm going to add a column. Owner. Existing string. And I had to get it from somebody. All right, and then license. Existing paragraph. I'm not going to let it be null, but I am going to let comment be null if it needs to be paragraph. It can be null. All right, so I'm going to go up here, and the cool thing is this. I could render this into SQLite. I'm doing it in the MySQL right now, but I could render it into SQLite, and I could also render a PHP interface that all the logic was in PHP, and it just did all the raw queries instead of having these MySQL functions to do it. I like it being in MySQL on my personal system, but I understand that it might not be. You might not be able to make MySQL functions on your system. All right, submit. Table created successfully. All right, so I'm gonna refresh so that my state here is all up to date. It's sort of a pain that I have to do that, but it ain't that bad, and it ain't the end of the world if I forget. But all right, so I'm gonna add a table, and this is just gonna be called media. And so that's this main one right here. This is a media indexer I'm building. All right, so column buttons, basic PK. I'm gonna include and add it on. Okay, and I'm gonna add a column and say date created, existing, date single line filter, and I'm gonna just go and let that be the current timestamp. With all else failed, I think that'll be okay. All right, so add a column. See where I was. I got to skip this one and do it after I've created the media table. So I'm going to say name, existing string. It can't be null. Broad type, so that would be like image. Existing string. That cannot be null. Add column. And that's going to be specific type. Specific type. Existing string that cannot be null, and that'll be like a PNG or JPG if it's an image. If the broad type's image, it could be image formats. If the broad type was video, it'd be video formats. ID description, existing paragraph that can be null. All right, so height. It's going to be existing integer can be null because certain for like a HTML document doesn't have a height. All right, width, existing integer can be null. All right, length. Maybe I could make this into something other than an integer later, like because it's supposed to be in seconds. But I'm going to make it an integer now and see what happens. It can be null. That won't be too hard to change in the future. All right, length. It could be a float. All right, so I'm going to say media size. Media size. I don't know if size is a keyword in the MySQL or SQLite or whatever, and that's why I added the media to the front of it. And it's going to be an integer. It can be null. I'm going to say that can't be null. I can't think of a kind of media that wouldn't have a file size with it. Okay, so size, text length, media text length, media text length. All right, existing integer can be null because some stuff doesn't have a text length. All right, then I need to go up here and I'm going to click on the foreign key with column. We're going to say upload session. We made that table earlier. Load session. And it can't be null. And it's going to be media indexer upload session primary key. All right, so I'm going to say submit. I'm going to do a foreign key with column here. And I'm going to say acquisition. And it can be null because maybe I made it. All right, so media indexer, media acquisition, primary key. All right, so I'm going to say submit. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and make this real quick. All right, so hopefully I don't have any errors. It would be a pain in the butt and embarrassing if I did. Yeah, every time that happens, all right, I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh. I don't think I would need to, but it ain't that bad to have to do. All right, so I'm going to add a table. No, I'm going to edit the media table, and I'm going to edit, and then I'm going to go to the column buttons. I'm going to add a foreign keyword column. This parent format media, it's like, so if this was a primary key, so if this was like a different size, or if I had converted formats or something, where it was the same media, except I just changed formats of it. So I'm going to say submit. All right, and then I'm going to go and save this to make sure this works. I'm going to refresh. I shouldn't have to. I don't think I have to, but just so that no weirdness happens when I do this. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so I'm going to press return. Then I'll say return. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. All these procedures were made automatically. All right, y'all. So that was in about 11 minutes. I made these tables right here, and I'm going to go ahead and make the other ones. And it might take me an hour total to make all these, but it used to take me a week. So I think my little boy's about to wake up. So anyway, hasta la vista. Thank y'all for watching. If you watched all this, goodness gracious. It's a dry life, man. Bye.